Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Simply Colorful FiberCast. Today's date is June 1st, 2018, and my name is Lynn, and I'm your host. Welcome to the month of June. We're already in month 6. It's amazing. Grab your projects and let's quilt together. I'm here on the vineyard again. You can see I'm here in the garage, really, and I am here with the scraps. So it's going to be a very informal program. We're going to just make some scraps. We're going to iron with our wonderful cordless iron, which apparently has been all the rage for a long time. I'm just late to the party. So I've heard from lots of you, so that's great. I'm glad to have discovered it. So we're going to do some scrap quilting, and then we're going to talk about a couple of things that happened on this day in history. So maybe do a little thinking or searching about what happened on June 1st, way back when. So if it's your birthday month, happy birthday, and let's get started. Grab a project. Okay, so if you'll remember last week, after we finished the mystery quilt, we just made 4 patches. And I'm just going to make more. I'm using 2.5-inch squares. And I'm just digging through my scrap pile to get darks and lights. And I have my iron here. So I got back down to the island last night. I worked all day today, as I know a lot of you did too. So I'm not up for anything too challenging. And what could be easier than a 4-patch? And what a busy week. I bet you've all had busy weeks. One of my highlights of my week is I got my machine cleaned, my Bernina. So I'm dying to try it. I haven't even tried it yet. Hello, who's there? Oh, I meant to tell you. Ha! Bob says garage. Hi, Bob. Hi, honey. It's the shop, really. Did I say garage? That's awesome. I'm so glad you're out there. Needless to say, what I was saying was I came back down here. Bob, my husband, is home. So I'm thrilled, and now I'm going to be totally thrown off my game because I never expect you to be online, honey. You're always in the basement playing your music. So this is doubly fun. And I did, so that you know, Bob, I did have issues with the internet. It was classic. It was the resolving host issue. I finally, thank goodness, used my phone as a hotspot. So I bypassed Mom's network, and I at least could get on through the cellular phone. It happened last week too, and I don't know how to fix it. Or I don't, you know what it is? I don't take the time before I have to have it work to figure it out right. So I hunt and peck, and I just basically try things, and when they don't work, I try something else, and I just go until it works. And then it's showtime, time to quilt, and then by the time FiberCast is over, I don't need to know what I needed to know an hour before. So send me your emails. Tell me what you're working on. Send them to lynn@simplycolorful.com or Leah, feel free to send texts. I somewhat hesitate to give out my phone number, but you know what? It's my business phone number, the same one. If anyone wants to have their quilted, you're going to call it. So feel free to send me a text to that same phone number that's on the Simply Colorful website. And if you happen to have a quilt you want me to long arm quilt, send it my way. I will be home starting next week until the 4th of July. So there's a good window there. And Joyce, you are definitely up next, I promise you. And I will do your mystery quilt if you want to bring that over. I'd love to do that as an example of the quilt. But you are up next. I got Carol's quilts I delivered, which was really fun. Carol, your work is just beautiful to watch emerge. Okay, so do I have enough darks here? I cut out some lights last time. Who's there? Did I see someone here? Let's see. I heard some. I can't believe, Bobby, you're out there. I hope you had luck at the library. I walked up to the Wyndemere silent auction before this, and that was fun. My mom was already up there. So what this is, the Wyndemere silent auction, is something they do every year, whereby they have the silent auction where they have things around the ag hall that people have donated that you can bid on. Whether there was a pie there, of course I saw the food. There was a pie there, lots of art, lots of a crocheted shawl. Wendy had a quilt there, Wendy Nuremberg. Let's see. Oh, trips, boating trips, go out fishing for the day, some glass work. So anyway, lots of beautiful things. I didn't bid on a thing, but I walked up and I walked around and saw it. Then they have a live auction where they bring in an auctioneer and they auction off big things like a day with prey, like Carol did when she went up and did some falconry or something like that, or the fishing trip. I think that's a live auction. Anyway, they're all up there. They're making money for Wyndemere Nursing Home that's here on the island. So it's a great cause. And my mom's been working on it for months. Like there's an orchid. She had to go pick that up. Different, just lots of different things. So I walked up there and back. So that got my exercise in. Now I need to cut these. Well, I'm not going to use solids. I think I'm going to stay away from solids and just try to use dark and light prints since I OD'd on solids on my last one. I am loving seeing the finished quilts, by the way. And I love seeing how everyone has finished the outer side differently. I also am making a change. In fact, let me get this. I want to show this to you. Don't leave. So remember when I started this is the Spring Fling mystery quilt. All the clues are free on the Simply Colorful website. And the EQ file will be available to patrons. Anyway, we started out with a inspiration fat quarter, and I used Tula Pink's Tabby Road. Remember this one? And then I picked all of my other colors to go with it for the front and then the back. Well, do you think I can find any more of this Tula Pink in stores? I can't. I haven't gone to a lot of them, and I haven't even gone online and looked, because yesterday I went to Fabric Place after dropping off the quilts to Carol, and I found a cotton and steel fabric that I like even better. So I'm going to outline the front of my quilt with this, and then I'm going to go onto my backing. I'm basically changing my inspiration fabric, and I'm going to take out this fat quarter and put in this fat quarter. So that is my plan. And I actually have a recipient in mind for the quilt. So that makes it even more, I could identify what I wanted the quilt to feel like. And this Tula Pink, really, since I couldn't find any more and I found that other one that matched, that's where I'm going to go with it. So that's that. Okay, let's do something. Again, send me pictures of what you're working on to Lynn at simplycolorful.com. Okay. So I walked home, and just before coming on the air, I had a hot dog with sauerkraut, and I'm curious to know who likes sauerkraut. It was delicious. And I like mine with ketchup, not with mustard. Okay, so now we have some plaid that's slightly off kilter, but that's okay. This is a scrap quilt. I'm thinking what I might do is combine these squares and do a Jacob's ladder pattern. You can look that up, Jacob's ladder, and see where the 4 patches fit. Then we have to do some half square triangles. Or I may just stick to this. It's kind of nice not to have a plan. Here's this. Do you think that's dark enough? I don't think it is. You know what just helped me? I held it up to the camera, and this just looks so much lighter than this, doesn't it? Okay, that's going away. But, coming out here. That's a cool one. I can get one out of that. Maybe all of these are too light. So the question is, now that we've done another mystery quilt, what should we do next? I half toyed with designing a quilt and literally putting it up on the site tonight. You know, maybe we could do that. We could design a couple and have people vote and decide which one we want to work on all summer. That might be fun. Because I think what's really fun about this, it's kind of like performance art in a way. Let me tell you what I mean by that. I think it's really fun to see different artists take the same pattern and make it their own. So I love to see the quilts emerge. Same pattern, it just looks so different depending on how each person interprets it. Well, I think that's half the fun. If we were to pick a pattern, and whomever could play, you know, it could be a handful of us, it could be just me, it doesn't matter. And we make that quilt, we can watch it emerge over the course of the summer. Now that said, I have made a decision. After this one, I'm only going to be filming FiberCast from the home studio. This whole network thing drives me crazy. You know, this technology, I am just not a natural. So there's one. Oh, I need 2 though, because I'm doing doubles. Remember, I'm doing my 4 patch, they're matching. So let me see if I can find another one of these. I think I can. Anyway, we'll have a lot of FiberCast this summer, but there will be a few Fridays when we won't. Which is kind of a departure, I know, from previous years. Well, that's not going to work, so we'll use these reds. And we'll put that back for something else. That sure shows up, doesn't it? I think I made my 9th grade dress out of this. Can't believe I would have made a dress and worn it, but I think I did. I'm not sure if I actually wore it though. That's what we have to check with Mom about. Oh, and for our local students who have graduated from Hopkinton High School, congratulations. We're so proud of you all. From Callie to Molly to Abby. Molly is Jean's daughter. Abby is Chris's daughter. Callie is Mike's daughter. I can remember when they were born. Almost. So, what happened on this day in history? Here's one thing. In 1980? Something happened. So that was 80, 90, 38 years ago, and it had to do with TV. That's a hint. I only have enough. Ooh, Living on the edge. I'm cutting a lot at once. Two, three. Okay, I think we should start to sew, don't you? So there's some good dark ones. All right, I'll tell you what about the first thing that happened. And I'm sure if you went to the History Channel, you saw this. In 1980, CNN, the cable news network, there's an ant, lovely. Ha! Okay, yes, we are in the garage. The cable news network launched. It's the world's first 24-hour television news network, made its debut in Atlanta, Georgia. The lead story, well, this is kind of interesting. I didn't read this beforehand. So the lead story was about the attempted assassination of civil rights leader Vernon Jordan. Wow, back in 1980. CNN went on to change the notion that news could only be reported at fixed times throughout the day. At the time of CNN's launch, TV news was dominated by three major networks, ABC, CBS, and NBC, and their nightly 30-minute broadcasts. Remember that? You'd always look for what time the local news was on and then the national broadcast. Initially available in less than 2 million U.S. homes, today CNN is seen in more than 89 million American households and in over 160 million homes internationally. CNN was the brainchild of Robert Ted Turner, colorful, outspoken businessman dubbed the Mouth of the South. Turner was born in Ohio. In 1996. So again, it started in 1980. 16 years later, CNN merged with Time Warner, which then merged with AOL 4 years later. Wow, that was this day in history. Okay, let's sew on our newly clean machine. Let's take this one. Can you see this? I hope you can. And that one. Ooh, that's a nice one. 4-patch. And just like last week, I'm going to web them together. I looked at bringing down my AccuQuilt Go. But to tell you the truth, I ran out of time to look for the dies that were this size. And the square dies really, if I'm using scraps, it works fine just to cut them with the rotary cutter. Okay, let's do this red one. I know this looks really random, but when they're all together, they're going to look really cool. And that's what I'm going to call a light at 10. Feels good. Here we go. Let's do a couple more. My mother was telling me, I can hear the birds outside. And my mother was telling me a sad story down here. Down here on the vineyard, so this is the eastern part of the United States, we have a nice osprey population. And the birds, ospreys, will fly up from South America each year. I'm pretty sure they come from that far. If not South America, at least down toward Florida. I know the hummingbirds come from way down. Anyway, we have pairs of osprey. We'll come to find out osprey will mate for life, and they will literally migrate. I'm not sure they stay together, but when they come back, they'll come back to the same nest. So there are nests up on poles here on the island, around the island, and there have been for years, and it's really helped to build the osprey population. Well, my mother said that the nest over near the high school, unfortunately, the male osprey was hit by a plane and was killed. And she said the female osprey is on the nest right now on top of her eggs. And the female ospreys, when they're at that point, they don't move. The male generally comes and feeds them. So it's really quite sad. No one really knows how it's going to turn out. Just hopefully the eggs hatch sooner rather than later, I guess. I asked my mother, will someone, and I was talking to Bob about this earlier, will someone climb up the pole and get the osprey? You know, or what do you do? And she said, the Felix Neck Wildlife, what are they? Felix Neck Bird Sanctuary, I guess is what they are, or an animal sanctuary. She was talking to them, and there are ants here. And I guess they let nature take its course, so you try not to interfere. And unfortunately, sometimes that means sad things happen. If the chicks, I don't even know if what little ospreys are called, but if they happen or the mother happens to fall out of the nest, then on the ground, they can go pick it up, and they have a permit. They need a permit here in this state, and they can take care of the wild animal. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and be interesting to follow. So now I have my flags, my scrappy flags. And after I iron these, I'm going to see who's out there. So I'm going to cut every second one and keep them webbed. And I didn't set these seams. There's that. And then I am ironing toward the dark. Toward the dark. Oh. Toward the dark. Okay, so there's that one. Toward the dark, toward the dark. I had to drop off the dog. Josie went home last Saturday. I've checked in on her once. She seems to be doing fine. They said that we spoiled her. I hope that doesn't mean she's not misbehaving. Okay, so there's that. Here's another one ready to sew. Ooh, that's going to be a pretty one. That was that one. Okay, let's see who's out there. Okay. Hey, Annie, a new viewer. She says, yes for sauerkraut every time. Me too. Don't you love it? Aww. Annie says, oh, this is so exciting. Welcome. Annie says, I saw you for the first time on YouTube this week and have been enjoying your FiberCasts all week. Oh, that's wonderful. I've been quilting since I was 13 in 1968. Wow, that's awesome. Here's a picture of a quilt top I finished last week. I'm waiting for a part of my sewing machine or it would have been quilted by now. Ooh, you'll have to tell us about your machine. Tonight I am basting hexagons and it's nice to have your company since they are getting somewhat tedious. Amen. And look at your quilt. Since you were 13, we have that in common, Annie. It is so nice to meet you and welcome. If that is a beautiful quilt, I love it. It's like a round robin. I love it. And talk about scrappy. That is just wonderful. If you haven't, you can always post it online for others to see if you can't see this. But welcome, Annie. Made my night. Hey, Sue. Hi, Sue. She says, Sue in the Chicago area she says, happy Friday, Lynn. The heat finally broke here. It has been in the 90s all week, but today it was only 70. Absolutely gorgeous day, she said. Here's the latest Lucy Boston block. And she says, hello to all the fellow FiberCasters out there. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend filled with sewing projects or gardening. Oh, and look at this. That is amazing fussy cutting. Oh, Sue. You must be close to having a Lucy Boston quilt done too. You better make it a really big one. Annie, in case you haven't heard, Sue out in the Chicago area started making a Dear Jane not very long ago, and now we have a race on. I'm going to finish mine by 2020. She will probably be done this year. Hey, Peggy is live. Peggy down under, she says, I'm so excited to see you live. Sent some photos. If you can't see it, let me know. I'll send it again. It's downloading right now, Peggy. Kind regards, Peggy. Oh, this is great. Oh, and you know what? It says it's June 2nd. It's Saturday, June 2nd. Oh, Peggy, look at this. Now that is what I call a master scrappy quilt. That's beautiful. Wow. I strive to do something like that. Look at how she's using scraps to create such delineation between the chevrons and the squares. How did you do that? That is lovely. And look at this. Same sort of color palette. So you can tell it came from some of the same scraps. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, Peggy. Woo! Annie, Peggy was one of the first people to be here with me back in, what was it, 2012? No, what am I saying? 14, 15, 16, 17. We're in our 5th year. It's going to get worse, folks. Not better. A, B. Oh, Peggy, that's beautiful. And they're all bound and everything. Oh, Peggy says, it's so excited. First time for ages that I'll be watching live. This is a quilt I made recently from scraps, front and back. That was just the front and back of the same quilt. Can't wait to see you. Have been watching all your other videos over the last weeks. Oh, how nice. Welcome. Oh, and it did come through the first time, by the way. So this is excellent. I bet you forwarded it to a couple of my different email addresses. So thank you. Thank you, because you know me and technology. This is... Hey, Allie. Allie says, hi from Australia. She says, hi, Lynn. I love my cordless iron. She says, I bought it about 5 years ago for the caravan in a Boxing Day sale at Spotlight. I've never heard Spotlight. She says, Spotlight is a fabric store, maybe like your Joann stores. Okay. She says, I liked it so much that I now keep it at home on my sewing table. And she says, I have a Jacob's Ladder quilt on my bed that was a mystery quilt from some years back when I first started making mystery quilts. 4 patches, great for leader ender projects. My leader enders at present are string blocks. That's great. I thought of doing that too. Today's aim is to finish packing all of my teaching resources and send them to the op shop. Then I hope to start on quilting Spring Fling. Today's aim is to finish packing all of my teaching resources and send them on to the op shop. You mean from when you were teaching? We head off midweek in the caravan, so I may not be able to see you live for a month or two. She says we're heading to Central Australia and Uluru or Ayers Rock. Oh, I live vicariously through you and all of your adventures. And she says, here's some Aussie history. On June 6th, so today's June 1st, although it's June 2nd in Australia, June 6th is Queensland Day. On June 6th, 1859, Queensland separated from the New South Wales and became its own independent colony. Very interesting. 1859. She says, I've attached a photo of my finished spring fling. Have a happy week, all you FiberCasters. From Allison. Oh, look at this. And Allison, I cannot believe how fast you did that. Look at that. Doesn't that look so cool? It almost vibrates. I love it. Nicely done. I can't wait to see what you quilted. I was thinking a little stipple, but I'm not sure anymore. I'm so glad you wrote. Let's see. Okay, let me keep going. We'll sew these in half. Okay. This one together. I'll have to look up a Jacob's ladder and show everyone. In fact, let's do that right now. Let's look up the Jacob's ladder block. Okay. Here she is. Hello. Jacob's ladder. Hi, Mom. How'd it go?
Good.
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 Did we bid on anything?
A couple of times, but didn't get anything.
No.
No.
Oh, no pie.
No.
We're looking up the Jacob's ladder quilt block.
Oh, okay.
Quilt block pattern. Okay, here we go. So let's look at images. That's what we're going to make with our, oh, there are ants around though. Okay, see this? There it is, right there. So see the 4 patches? And then when we put it all together, I know that's really fuzzy, but hopefully it'll look something like that. So that's the idea. Jacob's ladder. Bye. Okay. Whew. It's a little humid here on the island today, and it will be humid here tomorrow, but then it looks like it will be nice. Oh, see, I shouldn't have done that. Yay! Oh, I also wanted to talk about something else that happened on this day in history. So Queensland Day was June 6th. Oh, that's right. I have to cut them apart. And then I have to spin my seams. And then I'll iron them. Some of these, what you do is you pull it apart where the 4 meet, and then open it up, and then it lies flat. So look up, spin your seams. That's what we're doing. You have to, if you've webbed them together, just make sure you clip it and then pull it. And there we go. Okay. Here's another. Pull it. I wonder if I'm late. Is that why I'm not? No, it's only 8:30. 8:36. I ate the leftover beans with my hot dog in there, but luckily I found a can of beans, a little mini can of beans. I left it for my mother. She worked hard. I don't know if she's had dinner. Okay. Oh, let's do this one too. Rest of the dark. Next Friday, you know what I'll probably be working on? Are Marionette Puppets. How random is that, huh? Because our Textile Tarts group has our retreat for 2 days, next Saturday and Sunday. And we are on a mission to teach ourselves how to make marionette puppets. And we've got some instructions. We've got some wood. I don't have any string yet, so I have to do that. And I want to make a prototype before I get in there on Saturday. So, and if I really get ambitious, I hope to make some progress on that this weekend. So anyway, by next Friday, I may not be doing this. I may be making puppets or dolls that we can turn into marionettes. Okay. Oh, this one has to get sewn together. All right, let's just put those out there. See how they grow? Ah, yay, I love that part of quilting. Let's make a couple of these. Oh, there's a lot of nice fabric here. This is a copyright protected, not intended or suitable for children's sleepwear. That's all it says. Oh, there's a new material that's out that has dots on it. I'm sure you will know the name of it. In fact, this iron, this material is catching on this because it's it turned off. No problem. What were we talking about? I forget. Oh well. It'll come back to me. Oh, I know. The new fabric with polka dots. Okay. Let me look at this up. And the polka dots are not evenly distributed. And there's metallic in it. And they had every color in the rainbow at the Quilted Crow this week. Let's see. Fabric, metallic, dots, new. Let's look at images. Yep, here it is. Oh, I don't know why it's in Etsy. Okay, it's the Ombre Confetti bundle of 8 prints. Gold metallic oh, wait a second. So Ombre. Oh, V and Company. Ombre Metallics by Moda Fabrics. Beautiful ombre colors fade from dark to light to dark along the width of fabric. Gold metallic dots shimmer throughout. Listen to the colors. Mustard, taupe, indigo, turquoise, lagoon, teal, lime green, and plum. I didn't really show it to you, did I? I don't know if you can see that. Those are all of them stacked together. Let's see if I can get you one that shows them all. There's a little bit better picture. Doesn't that look fun? Ooh, the things we could do with that. New Ombre Confetti metallic dots. Okay, let's give this a better iron. There we go. Okay. That. So, if you have a project that maybe you've been putting off, I encourage you to do it now before the summer or the winter hits. And then you'll feel so good when it's done. I am determined to finish my poinsettia basket quilt because Becca down south is ready. Remember, that was her idea and we started it, and I have yet to finish mine. So I need to get on the stick. I've embroidered 10 and a half of the squares, and the square's all made, and I've been carrying it across the country back and forth, up and down, and I just have to finish embroidering it, and then I can put it all together. And I think I want to put it in our quilt show this fall, because it's going to, the reason being it's so different. Go. Oh, I'm so excited to meet Annie, our newest, please welcome our newest FiberCaster. If you haven't, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get alerted when we go live. That's number one. If you want to see past mystery quilts and see what other FiberCasters are doing, there is a Facebook page. It's for Simply Colorful Mystery Quilt-A-Long. Please join that and share what you're working on and make the mystery quilts. And then, of course, there's always Patreon. We really appreciate support for the web hosting services and everything else that we do. Please become a patron. That would be great. It's Patreon, patreon.com/Simply Colorful. And you can get a t-shirt. You can get all sorts of things. Okay. Let's get a couple of these in the queue. I like that one. go. These will be sprinkled all throughout the quilt. I know it doesn't look like we have much variety now, but might as well do a few. I didn't even notice the machine is purring. Feels good. Oh, here we go. We haven't used these yet tonight. Oh, so one last thing that happened on this day is an actress was born, Marilyn Monroe. Want to hear a little bit about her story? And I know you could read this yourselves. This comes from history.com. And what else happened? Helen Keller died on this day in 1968. In 1926, wow, so 92 years ago, does that sound right? Norma Jean Mortensen, who will become later known around the world as glamorous actress and sex symbol Marilyn Monroe, was born on this day in 1926. She was born in Los Angeles, California. She was later given her mother's name and baptized Norma Jean Baker. This is kind of sad. After a tumultuous childhood, where both maternal grandparents and her mother were committed to mental institutions, and she lived with a string of foster families, Norma Jean married one of her neighbors, James Doherty, when she was 16. He later joined the Merchant Marines and was sent to the South Pacific during World War II. A photographer discovered the naturally photogenic Norma Jean while she was working in a California munitions factory, and she was soon launched into a successful modeling career. She divorced Doherty in June of 1946, so she was 20, and soon after signed a film contract with the 20th Century Fox. She was young. At the outset of her acting career, Norma Jean dyed her brown hair blonde and changed her name again, calling herself Marilyn Monroe. Monroe was her grandmother's last name. After a bit part in the 1947's The Shocking Miss Pilgrim, she had a string of forgettable roles before landing a spot in John Huston's thriller, The Asphalt Jungle. That was in 1950. That same year, she also drew attention for all her work in All About Eve, starring Bette Davis. Her true breakout performance, though, came in Niagara in 1953, which was a thriller in which Monroe played an adulterous young wife who plots with her lover to kill her husband. So then it goes on to say, after starring in turns in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and How to Marry a Millionaire, both also released in 1953, Monroe was at the top of Hollywood's A-list. In January of 1954, so 26, 36, 46, 56, so she was only 28, she married baseball great Joe DiMaggio at San Francisco City Hall after a 2-year romance. Though the press hailed the relationship as the quintessential all-American love affair, trouble began brewing almost immediately. DiMaggio was notoriously uncomfortable with his new wife's sexy public image and her wild popularity, as evidenced by the near riot among U.S. servicemen stationed in Korea during a performance she gave in the middle of the couple's honeymoon. They would divorce that October after only 9 months of marriage, but remained good friends. In fact, after Monroe's death, DiMaggio famously sent roses to her grave several times a week for more than 3 decades until his own death in 1999. Wow. Let me read that again. I had not read that, nor do I ever remember hearing this. So Joe DiMaggio, who Marilyn Monroe was married to for 9 months, stayed friends with her until her death. After Monroe's death, here's the thing. DiMaggio sent roses to her grave several times a week for more than 3 decades So for 30 years, he sent roses to her grave. Wow. Until his own death. Here's a little bit more. Monroe attempted to switch to more serious acting roles, studying at the prestigious Actors Studio in New York. She earned positive reviews for her more nuanced work in Bus Stop in 1956, The Prince and the Showgirl in 1957, and particularly Some Like It Hot in 1959. By 1961, however, trouble in Monroe's personal life, her third marriage to the acclaimed playwright Arthur Miller, dissolved after 4 years and had led to her increasingly emotional fragility. And that year, she was admitted on 2 occasions to hospitals for psychiatric observation and rest. Her final film was The Misfits, written by Miller and co-starring Montgomery Clift and Clark Gable. It would also be Gable's final appearance on screen. Oh, that's interesting. Fox dismissed her in 1962, and she died in 62. Wow, she was only 36 years old. Woo! She did a lot of living in 36 years. How then? So, here's fake news. Did you just do that math? If she died at 36, how could Joe DiMaggio have been sending her roses for 30 years? After divorcing her after she was 26 or something. Something was not right. And now I flipped it off. So anyway, you can't always believe what you read. That is the moral of that story. Okay. Who else is out there? I just want to make sure I didn't miss anyone. Carol, hello. Deb, hello. Everyone who is out there, hello. I'm so glad you're there. I hope that you're getting a lot done and feeling accomplished. And hey, Allie says hi again. Not sure how I will quilt Spring Fling. I love that we can talk halfway across the world, Allie. Allie says, I usually do stipple or meandering, but was thinking maybe straight lines. She says, I'll get inspiration when I start pinning the sandwich. That sounds good. Let me know what you decide. I was thinking the same thing. Maybe I just do straight, like lots of little pencil stitches. I'm leaning back toward the stipple and the meandering, but let me know. I'll be curious. Okay. So I think, I want to make sure I didn't miss anyone. Thank you for joining me. I cannot believe, are we at time? It's amazing what we can get done in 54 minutes. So we haven't been, okay. All right, I'll keep going. I'll make a few more. See? It's like exercise. You just have to do it. This will be a good one. And I love playing in the fabric. So who am I kidding? Because really, and I've said this before, this is what I would be doing if the camera weren't on. I really would. So why not have some company? I so appreciate your company and having this opportunity to check in. You know, quilting isn't a profound thing, but it gives us a commonality. It gives us something that we all enjoy, whether it's tactilely touching the fabric, or it's the design element, or the color that's pleasing to the eye, or the construction. Whatever it is, we all share that love. And isn't it good to have a hobby? You know? There's nothing more profound than that. Or complicated than that. And I truly, truly am so thankful that to have a hobby, something to take us out of ourselves. We can't always be giving to others. How selfish is that? But it's true. We can't, you should see all of the volunteering my mother does. It's amazing what things she does for so many other people. And it's wonderful. And I know many of you out there, Sandra, are always doing for the community. And quilting is another way to do that. but it's also a way for us to unwind, de-stress, commune, express ourselves, all that good happy stuff. Whew, that's a lot of 1980s era prints. Here we can even get a few more. Go. See, this I should save for part of the Jacob's Ladder. I think I will. I have to do the math to figure out how big we need our triangles, but I can do that. Let's see, if it's 7.5 inches, I can get 3. Oh, it's not 7.5. So I just need at least 2. There we go. Oh, look at this one. Can I get 2? Yes, I can. That's a pretty purpley blue. Okay, there's that. 2.5. Oh. And 2.5. Be fun to do a different color. A lot of these are strings. I know you can't see this, I'm sorry. So let's take a few of these. Here we go. Look at all these pretty ones. These are good. Those are dark. This is light, isn't it? Especially if I put it with that. Yeah, that'll work. Kind of borderline. What's this one? Oh, this is a little piece of the charm pack of campers. Well, I think we're about done for this Friday night. What do you think? Okay, so we talked a little history. We shared some pictures. Those quilts are amazing. Peggy, you wow me with your amazing ability with different scraps. So keep on quilting. Thank you everyone for joining me. Have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you next Friday night back at the home studio up in Hopkinton, Massachusetts. Bye. Have a great weekend.